This video contains spoilers on Better Call Saul up through and including episode 8 of season 5. So viewers, please be warned. The spoilers are about to begin.
Okay, what if I have the urge to not tell you something, but I tell you and you don't like what you hear? A new client, he's connected. I mean, he's a cartel guy from Mexico.
I just want to know what's going on.
He said I'd be a friend of the cartel.
Do you want to be a friend of the cartel?
So $100K for a little drive through the desert, huh?
That's the price.
You're a friend of the cartel? Is that it?
Not exactly.
Till death do you part.
I do.
I thought I should tell you.
I'm glad you did. I don't like this. I don't want you to do it.
Till death do you part.
So Goodman and Kim haven't even been married an entire full episode, and already there is trouble in paradise. Once again, wishy-washy Kim is a living contradiction. First she claims she's happy Jimmy is keeping her in the loop, and now she's all fired up and concerned, but not without good reason. After all, Goodman had once again appeared visibly distraught over representing low-life Lalo. Goodman had a way out, but against his better judgment, not only does he decide to make the run, he's apparently motivated by earning a quick buck. Deep down, the mere fact that Goodman once again insisted on telling Kim his shady business, it feels like a cry for help, and Kim called him out on his bullshit.
No one's gonna look at me twice.
You sound like you are talking yourself into this.
Holy shit, it's the well-dressed Salamanca duo. They are sporting some snappy outfits, and they stoically deliver the $7 million to Saul. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Goodman, Mike is on the scene watching Saul's transaction from afar. Some would-be ruffian bandits try to rob Saul, and fortunately for him, Mike swoops in for the rescue. And that duo would define the heart and soul of this episode, the survival journey of Saul and Mike.
And I gather you know where to find a Bavarian boy.
I'm gonna park right here.
I don't think you want to be doing that.
Oh, yeah?
Now tell me where to find him. You know it's the right thing.
Look, if I was to tell you, well, I couldn't live with myself. I'm sorry. Is there some problem I'm not seeing, like with the swap or something?
You gonna gum me to that, huh, geezer? Oh, ow, ow, ow!
But who's to say I didn't write the address down in my day planner?
Plan's fine as far as it goes. It's just not for me. And I don't think it should be for you either.
I have people waiting for me. They don't know what I do. They never will.
You're a friend of the cartel? Is that it?
Not exactly.
Till death do you part.
Mike and Saul have always had an interesting relationship, and also one that is fairly typical of the type we've grown to see in the Breaking Bad universe. There is a degree of mutual respect, but with limits. Sometimes they are friendly, other times they are bickering. Sometimes each respects the other's vision, other times they don't. But right now their goals are completely aligned in their brutal journey for survival. There were two especially interesting things that happened here, and Goodman embracing his inner Juan Manuel Marquez wasn't one of them. The first interesting thing involves Mike. Him teaming up with Gus again over the selling point of revenge, that never seemed especially convincing to me. Is Mike an especially vengeful character? In Breaking Bad he wasn't. Mike wanted to kill Walt and ultimately realized the best course of action was to instead join an alliance with Walt and Jesse. And yet here, Mike just joined Gus again and did a complete 180. On their journey, Mike gave a speech about what motivates him. And like the comment from Kim earlier, it feels like Mike is trying to convince himself here.
So they can have a better life. And if I live or if I die, it really doesn't make a difference to me as long as they have what they need.
You sound like you are talking yourself into this.
So when it's my time to go, I will go knowing I did everything I could for them.
You're done. You are done! I believe Mike is trying to convince himself. What I really think is happening here is that Mike realized that the best way to avoid his guilt and self-loathing, largely over his son, that keeping busy with potentially risky endeavors was the best way to avoid that. We have seen similar manifestations in other characters, notably guys like Walter White and Goodman himself. While Mike projects this image that he's always cool and calm and collected, you get the feeling that he really suffers deep down with insecurities. Either way, it feels to me that his justification, providing for his family, does that sound eerily familiar? His justification at best feels more like a secondary objective to me, with the primary objective being that line of work is a distraction vice. In other words, it seems Mike decided that he would rather deal with the guilt of murdering dozens of Zieglers, rather than being left alone to deal with his own feelings about his dead son. The other interesting thing involved Goodman's realization of this.
She knows. She's in the game now.
What? No, she's not in the game.
Mike frowns on the idea that Saul told Kim his business. Mike was correct. Kim was correct for being worried. And inexplicably, it really did seem as if Goodman never even considered that in being honest with Kim about his cartel dealings, he was endangering her. Well, he certainly seems to realize that now. That was Goodman's key discovery here, even as he was faced with the past demon of the space blanket, and even his personal dismay over the gift travel mug being a casualty of battle. Meanwhile, Lalo remains the key piece of the puzzle that drives this season. All roads lead through Lalo, who doesn't seem particularly happy about Goodman's shakedown, and he appears even more perturbed when he discovers some strange woman knows his business. Indeed, Lalo is none too happy, even if he appears very merry.
Mr. Salamanca.
Who the hell are you that he tells you my business? All right, well, nice to meet you, Mrs. Goodman.
She's in the game now.
What? No, she's not in the game.
Till death do you part.
Get up.
No! I'm not going. I'm done.
This almost reminds me of what we witnessed in the Gene timeline. Goodman was ready to quit, but Mike's pep talk seemed to remind him that he endangered Kim with his cry for help. That fear took greater shape when Kim thought it would be a good idea to visit Lalo. Now Kim is completely in the crosshairs of the cartel. Again, they haven't even been married an entire full episode, and Goodman defied her pleas. Their worst fears came to fruition, and now Lalo effectively owns Goodman. This could explain why Saul could ultimately help Gus via Mike when it comes to ultimately neutralizing Lalo. But the bigger issue here is, I still maintain Kim is the one thing keeping any part of Jimmy McGill that's left from going all in on Saul Goodman. So in order for Saul to make the full transformation, I think he needs to be the one who rejects Kim. Goodman is now completely aware of the magnitude of the situation and the fact that his choices potentially endangered Kim. What does that mean? I think it means that the final act of Jimmy McGill will be protecting Kim by rejecting her, and only then can he truly become Saul Goodman. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful night.
Let's do it again. I don't want to lie to my clients.
I thought I should tell you.
I'm glad you did. I don't like this. I don't want you to do it.
Till death do you part.
She knows. She's in the game now.
What? No, she's not in the game.
All right, well, nice to meet you, Mrs. Goodman.
Till death do you.
You're done.
You are done!